Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Weekly Review at Sean Sarak. I am Sean again, Torres. And of course, I'm joined along with.
And it's your boy Sriracha. Mike, how we doing, man? I know this looks a little different than usual from our usual setup.
This is a different than our normal setup. We are blessed, actually, to be able to conduct this interview with Haywoode Workman here at what used to call it Davidoff's, but now it's called what is it, Corona Cigar? Or is it King
he didn't tell me the name change, so I'm on Google Maps like Davidoff.
Well, that's what everybody know it as.
Is this a real place?
Anyway, yes, it's a real place.
And of course, you've heard that voice. That voice is the voice of our guest today. Is Haywoode Workman, former NBA player and former ref, also in the NBA. Ms. Workman, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me today.
Thank you, man. You look good. You actually I mean, I'm not trying to go off the basketball thing, but with the headphones on, you look like the half-time analyst. They're like, all right, back to you, Marv. Like, yeah, so basically LeBron James is 10 for 30
This
from
could
the
be my
field.
kickoff. This could be my kickoff. To my show, we could have some competition.
Hey,
That's true.
did someone say fourth career?
There it is. That could be it.
So how you been? What's new?
Oh, man, retirement is good, man.
Retirement?
Yeah, just been traveling and trying to stay low-key and grind this project I got.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, let's go ahead and kind of jump into it because we're going to talk about your history and stuff a little bit, but let's go ahead and jump into it. What is this project you got coming on?
So this project I'm working on is HBCU Hoops Invitational. It would be the first of its kind of a HBCU preseason basketball tournament.
Okay.
To be played here in Tampa, Florida, December 2024.
Okay. That's going to be...
So how? I mean, tell us a little bit about that. How they get started in the first place?
Well,
what was the process from day one till obviously now?
Well, I attended a HBCU.
Okay.
Out of high school, I went to Winston-Salem State, and I played on football scholarship. And I also played basketball there too.
Okay. Okay, Deanna.
Which one do you like better now, football or basketball? I mean, I know which one you like better now, but back then, which one did you like better?
Basketball, I love.
Okay.
But I'm probably a better football player than basketball. It just came natural as a football player.
Right.
So I was Charlie Ward before Charlie Ward. Before Allen Iverson.
Okay.
Back in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, but I was 180 pounds and defensive end hit me, and I was like, I don't know if I want to continue. I mean, I should have. I might have stayed, but I didn't believe I could win a Heisman at HBCU. So. Yeah. I love basketball, so I wanted to transfer and go to a bigger school to where I could get some exposure as a basketball player. So I transferred to Oral Roberts.
Okay.
And going there got me drafted as a basketball player. So I won't say that I couldn't play football. I just stopped.
Honestly, that's a smart decision because I mean, the average football career is 3
to 4 years,
maybe
that. About the same thing in basketball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's about 4 years.
Oh, wow. So I thought like the average around like 10 because when you look at the league and
no, you're just lucky.
Just lucky?
They're just lucky to get to 10 years.
Well, the good thing about basketball is you can retire and still play basketball.
That's true.
You retire from football. I've never seen them pick up football games at the park. So
basketball is the best sport. I have arguments with everyone, athletes, about
why do you think it's the best sport?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter your age, your creed, your color, your race, where you're from, your gender. You play basketball. In the United States, in every driveway, there's a what?
I mean, I don't know though. I mean, basketball. Height got a little bit to do with it too.
It don't matter. Nate Robinson, Spud Webb, Muggsy Bogues.
I knew you were gonna bring him out.
But there's a basketball goal basically in every driveway.
Okay.
Play football in the street.
That's true.
You hit a car.
Yeah.
Hey, I was that kid.
That's your career, right?
I was that kid too, but I'm saying football control violence.
Right.
Yeah.
How many people gonna go out there and do that?
That is true.
You got to be special to really play football.
Now, being talented in both sports, being a dual athlete on, obviously the professional level in basketball, football, possibly, we never know. Is like, as far as like family history, were you brothers, sisters, parents, anything involved in sports?
My mom, in high school, they played sports. My dad played basketball, football, but just growing up as a kid, we didn't have a professional team in Charlotte. So basically, whatever season it was, that's what I did as a kid.
Right.
So it didn't. If you want to play tennis, you want to play ping pong, you want to go to the rec center, that's what you did. So, but I found I had a real gift for football.
Right.
But I love basketball.
Okay.
So watching my dad grow up playing at the rec centers and stuff like that, you just love the game.
Right.
Did you always want to attend an HBCU growing up in North Carolina, or did it just kind of something that just, hey, this was my spot?
No, I was a knucklehead.
Knucklehead?
I was a knucklehead that procrastinated, and
That's me.
I took advantage of being that privileged athlete, and I failed the 12th grade.
Oh, okay.
So all the big schools kind of backed off and wanted me to go to a junior college, but Winston-Salem State came and said, hey, you can play football and basketball. So my teachers, all the people in my neighborhood grew up that came from HBCU said, you know, Winston-Salem would be good for you.
Now, was there any like doubt going? I mean, I'm not saying like doubt going to HBCU, but just the coverage, right? Because you knew you were talented. However, you know, going in your day, I mean, there's no social media, there's no internet, there's no, you know, camera phones. It's just kind of like, you know, you have a very small window of opportunity to get noticed.
Right, and I would have to do something really special to be, you know, a standout out of all the HBCUs for, you know, NFL teams to come look at me.
Right.
Which I was skeptical about that, but I love basketball. So when I told my high school coach I wanted to transfer and go to a bigger school to give me some exposure for basketball, Oral Roberts came calling, so I left.
So how many years did you do in the NBA?
I played 8 years in the NBA.
8 years. So what was your team? I mean, I know what team.
I was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks in 1989. I played for the Washington.
What month? What year? I mean, not what year? What month? What day? My bad.
Well, the draft is there in June.
June what?
June, July. I don't know what.
No, because I was born June 7th, 1989.
Oh, okay.
So I just didn't know. But you could have been born on the. I mean, I could have been born on the day you was drafted.
The draft was in July. So
July. Okay. All right. Well, I missed it.
But June, July, you get drafted, and then you get to preseason training camp in October, and you go through those rituals. And so drafted by Atlanta, went to Washington the next year because I was a free agent, and played with the Washington Bullets.
Bullets, yeah.
Not the Wizards.
Yeah.
And then in between Washington and Indiana Pacers, I went to Italy to play for 2 years to get out of a contract with first right of refusal.
Yeah.
So to get out of that, and then I came back from Italy, I tried out with the Clippers, with the Pacers.
Okay.
Pacers were a better deal. And so I signed a 2-year deal with Indiana, and those 2 years is basically how people know me. From those 2 years of playing, we got to the Eastern Conference Finals. First year I was a starting point guard.
Okay.
And then after Indiana, went on to Milwaukee and Toronto. And then I finished my career, I played in Israel.
Okay.
So, and then after Israel, I came back and I moved to Florida and was working
Which
out.
everybody does
Right,
eventually.
right. So I moved to Florida and I was working out with a couple of guys, Ty Lue, Chauncey Billups, Al Harrington, Jared Jeffries. They were all down at IMG, you know, working out. And so I, you know, went down to work out because I thought I could still play, hopefully, and I didn't get picked up. And former referee Bob Delaney was like, "Hey man, you look like you're a little step slow. You ever thought about reffing?"
Hey, you lost a step there a little bit.
Well, I had an injury too. I had an injury, so I was a step slow. And then, you know, I thought about it because I didn't get picked up, and nobody called to come and play. So I tried out for the high school association in refereeing.
Okay.
And that was in 2003.
So, we touched on, well, I don't want to say last time, but, you know, going from playing college ball to the NBA obviously is a step up. Like, you know, I guess when was your moment that you realized that, like, okay, these guys can play? You know what I mean? Like, because, like, you know, when in college, it's like, you know who the best players are, you know how much time you're going to get, you know, you pick your shots pretty much. You go to the NBA, everybody's on, you know, the professional level. You have control when you're in the game, but, you know, you can have a coaching staff you don't like, or you can have a team you just don't gel with good. So,
well, I tell you this, my rookie year, the starting five was Doc Rivers, John Battle, Dominique Wilkins, John Concat, and Moses Malone.
Oh, you had a lot of show.
That's a starting five.
Yeah,
I would have walked in there like, he's not that good.
On the bench was Spud Webb, Cliff Levingston, Antoine Carr, Kevin Willis. They drafted the #1 Russian, Alexander Volkov. The first pick for the Hawks was Roy Marble, And I was told, you got to be ready to play. And I'm like, where? Not on this team. But if you don't have that attitude and that charisma and knowing your ability, you won't make it. So after experiencing that, the next year I went to Washington because I was a free agent. Atlanta didn't re-sign me. And I was like, I'm going to make this team.
Right.
I'm going to show everybody that I can play. And so I ended up being the starting point guard for the Washington Bullets at that time. And then it's the same thing because now it's a business.
Right.
So now it's a business. Second round picks aren't guaranteed. They're
only first round?
First round picks are guaranteed.
Okay.
So you got to earn it. So I was offered as a second round draft pick, I was offered $50,000 just for getting drafted.
Oh.
But you don't have to accept that, right?
No, I got to accept that.
To play, you got to take that just to get a chance.
I'm saying, like, because I have a buddy, like Gabriel Raconis Jr.
Yeah.
Right, who, this is baseball. I know it's completely different, but he got drafted like fifth or sixth round.
Yeah.
And he's like not 20 years old, and his agent told him, you should do another year in college to get in a high position.
Right.
So that was new to me. I didn't know you can like get drafted and decide not to go and then re-enter the draft.
Right.
I don't know if there's like a time limit or amount of times you can enter a draft, but
well, in '89 they didn't have the option.
yeah, it's like you
so
drafted.
they're gonna give you guaranteed money. You're gonna take it, and if you make the team, there's a bigger contract.
Yeah. Okay, so you still have to try out for the team?
Well, I had to make the team as a second round draft pick.
Oh.
So just for getting drafted, $50,000.
$50,000.
And then, hey, that's just your opportunity.
Right.
Here's $50,000 to come and try out, basically.
Right. And if I made the team at that time, I would have made $150,000.
Okay.
If I made the team.
Okay.
So I didn't make the team. I got cut the last day.
I would have been. I would have been at the tryouts, poisoning other people. Like, make sure they set the alarm off. Like, yeah, brother, when I showed up to tryouts.
Yeah. So I mean, they wanted me, but at the time, like I said, it was a business.
Right.
So there was a guy, Cedric Toney. I forgot to mention his name. Cedric Toney. He was like a 2-year veteran in front of me. So it was between me and him who was going to be that third point guard, and they went with the veteran.
Okay.
But then Doc Rivers got hurt, and I was in the CBA, so I got called up a couple times.
Okay.
With the same team. So, but then at the end of the year, hey, y'all gonna re-sign me? And they was kind of hesitant, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna try with another team.
Exactly.
How nerve-wracking is it at the end of basically your initial contract, and you got options? So I can go play overseas, I can stay here, maybe ride out with a different team, but you don't even know what is really going on because your agent's gonna sit there trying to build your head up no matter what.
Right.
How nerve-wracking is that? Just those few weeks.
It's just frustrating because, like, why you draft me and you didn't want to keep me? But at the same time, this was my opportunity.
Right.
And they were like, well, what we want you to do is go to the CBA. We still want to keep your rights. And if someone gets hurt, we'll call you back. And so I went to Topeka, Kansas.
Okay.
And that was motivation because in Topeka, Kansas, we played in an arena that held 10,000 and maybe 1,000 people showed up. and it's 30 to 35 below, I stayed at a Motel 6, the closest place to eat was the Waffle House.
Yeah, you missed the games because of snow?
No, you're not missing no games.
Oh, no, because you're trying to make the team.
No, not in the CBA. I'm on the team in the CBA.
Okay.
In the CBA, I'm on that team.
Yeah.
But ain't no missing games. It's snow, It's Topeka, Kansas.
I'm here.
Right.
Yeah, it snows every day.
But that was motivation for me to say that I need to get back to where what I experienced being with the Atlanta Hawks and traveling with the team and getting that per diem and being privileged as a pro player. So the CBA, if you don't know, stands for a cheap bunch of amateurs. So I didn't want to be one of them. And so that first year I made the all-rookie team.
Okay.
Because that was my motivation to get back to the NBA. And so as a free agent coming out of the CBA, I went to try out with the Washington Bullets, and I made the team because 2 guys was holding out on their contracts, Lee Dale Eccles and John Williams. I don't remember y'all, Hot Plate Williams is from Los Angeles, about 6'9", real smooth player, but he was hurt, gained a lot of weight, so he had to get back in shape. So me and this guy, Larry Robinson, we was on the team. We made the team, but they ended up cutting Larry and kept me.
That's the worst when you make friends at tryouts.
Yeah, well, Larry he was a shooting guard. I was a point guard, so they need a point guard.
Oh yeah.
So But I played shooting guard also because I played with Darryl Walker, and we were just interchangeable.
Oh, right.
Because he was a point guard, but he played the 2.
Okay.
And so it didn't matter who brought the ball up, fill his spot.
Okay.
So that's a basketball. You just improvise. So I ended up making that team, and that was just it. I'm here, and I knew I could play in that league, and that's what really motivated me to say I want to play in the NBA.
Would you go ahead.
The kids come to this invitational. A lot of their dreams are going to be playing in the NBA. That's, about 90% of their dreams. That's what they want to do.
Right.
What can you tell them to help them pursue their dreams?
Well, for this invitational is to give them the opportunity to be seen.
Yeah.
We want to have a platform for them to be seen on the same stage, so we even out the playing field, because there has never been a tournament like this of such, and so their dream.
Which is surprising for HBCU. You know what I mean? It's just like
I can't say why. I don't know why, but here I am to do it.
Yeah.
So I would just say you just got to go out and prove to the world that you can play.
Yeah.
That's basically it. That's any kid playing anywhere. Mm-hmm. It just so happens that what I'm trying to do, it's targeted HBCUs.
That's good. And it's funny. It's like, it's especially right now. It's kind of like riding the momentum almost. Because when Deion Sanders went to Jackson State, I believe.
Yes.
That brought a lot of. I mean, even now with him with Colorado, brings a lot of attention. I mean, he's obviously his persona and whatnot.
His status.
But
before you play.
Now it's funny. I was watching ESPN the other day, just on Saturday, watching some college football, and now they're showing more HBCU games,
right?
Just because of that, right? So it's like,
they were showing Grambling. I think it was Grambling State and someone the other day. I was watching it too, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I was shocked because they never have it up there. Like, I've watched ESPN almost religiously on football season. I can say I've never seen an HBCU team up there since the start of that whole thing. That's just crazy.
So. I want to kind of dive more into the the invitational and what you guys got going on. Before that, just kind of after played in the NBA, then afterwards you realize that maybe the time is ticking. Transitioning to being a referee, like how was that? I mean, how did that process go?
So after working out, Bob says you're a little step slow. So, I reached out to the NBA and asked them about,
Which you could do, we can't do.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Kyle, can you reach out to the NBA for us?
Well, it kind of helped. It helped because I was part of the fraternity
Right.
already.
Yeah.
So I already had one foot in. And so when I made the call to the league office and asked, they asked me, had I ever ref before? And I was like, no. And so they were like, well, you need to go find some place to where you can train. And so go to a camp, a referees camp. Mm-hmm. So went to a referees camp in Gainesville.
Okay.
It was called Coast to Coast.
Okay.
So I went up there, cut your gums. And then that summer, they asked me to go either to New York or LA to learn like pro officiating, like a men's league, like a pro-am league. So New York or LA, I chose LA.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, I'm choosing one every
Right.
time.
So for a month and a half, I went to LA and I refed in the Drew
League.
The Drew
Okay.
League. Now this is the old Drew League. The Drew League was played at a middle school in Watts.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So if you think Compton was bad,
Yeah, you can play if you can make it here.
Yeah, you got to survive.
Right.
but if you can get out,
Yeah,
You
exactly.
get here, you
can
buy
get
parking,
out.
you can play.
So went to the Drew, and I refed in the Drew, I refed in the LA Pro-Am, and I refed at Venice Beach for $20 a game.
Okay.
So I was like, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Travel, technical foul, game's over. I'm out of here.
for $20.
Yeah.
So, but I learned, and a guy named Jim Bertolero, walked behind me and told me, put your fists up, blow the whistle, like while the game is going on. So that's
like
how
you're
I-
watching.
He really schooled you into it.
me, right. And then he would, they told me how to report it, walk to the table and report it. So I had to learn to do all that to where I got comfortable without him being behind me. And so I had just moved to Tampa at the time, and Dale Holmes, he was the head of Park and Rec in St. Pete.
Okay.
So I had played in the Tampa St. Pete Pro-Am maybe 2 years before I had actually moved here. And so he was sick and ended up passing. And so when I came back from LA, I just kind of talked to his wife
Right.
And she gave me all the material that he had, and I started the Bay Pro-Am City League Association.
Okay.
Really?
And that's where I would go down and I had to put the 3-point line. And my son right now, he's a grad senior at Jacksonville. He was about 7, and I'd be yelling at him, hold the tape, you know, so I can get these lines right. So I had to learn the actual dynamics of the court and put the tape down myself while I'm reading the rule books
Right.
and learning how to, you know, what's the dynamics of the game, how the game, and what's the rules. And I learned all that as I'm reffing and running a league.
That's a lot.
So I had 10 teams in this league, local guys
Yeah.
that played, you know, from around the area. Some played overseas. And that's what kind of got me going with refereeing. And I also joined the high school association.
Okay.
So that year, going into basketball season, that October, I joined the CBA, which I was familiar with because I had played in it. So it was just an easy transition of how to travel, what to do.
Yeah,
basketball is basketball. I already kind of know that. And so I was doing middle school girls, JV boys, and the CBA at the same time.
Oh,
you were busy.
So, but I was only making like $150 a game in the CBA and making $30 in, you know, school
Yeah,
levels.
but it's experience, you know, you're gaining experience.
Yeah.
I mean, how much stuff did you thought, I don't even know how to phrase this question, from being a player, how surprised were you about all the rules that you've never even like considered during the game?
Right, I never knew the rules as a player.
Yeah, you just play.
Just play.
You just play.
You just did what you.
So you didn't travel, no dribble, foul, or cause you did.
Whenever the ref say, "Hey, I did something wrong."
Right. But then you argue and you be like, you didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
You didn't know you did it.
You ever like take a player off to the side, like, listen, son, you gotta Euro step when you're in that
I
position.
tell you this, my problem when I play basketball, you know that 3-second line?
Yeah.
I would always
just stand there.
Always get caught.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
Because you played at the park.
Yeah.
And the park didn't have 3 seconds.
No, it didn't.
Right.
It didn't. So when I played in the league, it's like, oh.
And so then that was more intriguing to me as a referee, because now you see how the game is structured, how the game is supposed to be played by the rules. Yeah. And so the things that you would get called on a violation for, most of the time players don't even realize what they've done.
Right. Yeah.
And so that was more intriguing to me as a player now, but now as a referee, to make me, I know I can be a referee.
What was more stressful, right? Is it more stressful to be a player in, you know, a high, you know, last second type of situation in a game, or actually reffing, you know, a very tight game and having to decide on a call that can potentially change the outcome?
Reffing period. Period is a struggle. Because
they all against you.
You're trying to be right.
Right.
You're trying to make the right call. And just based on the angle, you may miss it. It may look like a foul, but it's not a foul. So you got to make sure you're in the right position and get the right angles. So when you blow that whistle, here come your 15 seconds of fame, and all the lights going to be coming on you. Everybody watching what you got. So you better be right. And if not, then you're going to get cursed out and all that. And now you got technical fouls. And it just messes up the game.
Yeah.
You know, and no one came to see the referee.
Okay, son. Which one do you find was more enjoyable? Enjoyable, harder? You take the definition. Refereeing high school and junior and all that when you're doing the program, or when you finally got to do it for the NBA?
It's harder with the kids.
It's harder with the kids.
Because the kids are trying to play like the pros.
Yeah.
But they tell you the rules aren't the same. Which for me, as a former player and now former referee, the rules should be one rule. It should be, I think you should use the pro rules for basketball in general. Because if you tell an 8-year-old, you got to do like LeBron. He practicing, he watching LeBron. Kobe watched Michael Jordan.
Right.
So why his rules got to be different from who he's trying to be? So if the rules are one set rules, game wouldn't get as scrutinized. You know?
Right.
And the players can develop to become better when they get to the NBA. They'd be that much more or that much improved or skilled as a player. But reffing high school boys, they fall down, or girls, they fall down, and coach just fell down. You can't just fall. I'm sorry. Right. But now when you get to the pro level, they don't just fall down.
Yeah.
Pros don't fall.
Right.
They're that skilled that they don't just fall down. Something had to happen. And so you just, what you look at and what you're looking for would show you what happened or why they failed.
Right.
You may not have intentionally tried to do that, but you did trip it.
Right.
Or
Exactly.
your legs got caught up, and that's on you. And
That's true.
That's why you call it a
Yeah,
foul.
if I was a ref, my motto would be like, it always was what it looked like. It's like, that's a foul.
But you can't do that. You just can't. You can't do that.
Was there ever, after this question, well, I kind of want to talk about the invitational too. Was there, in your referee career, was there ever like a player, would you say a player, who kind of, I guess, had a reputation to where you had to like watch for certain things? Because I'm sure there's players out there who egregiously commit,
Flagrant fouls.
Not fouls, but like, breaking the rules or committing some type of error to where like they get away with all the time.
That doesn't make it right.
Right.
They get away with it. Basketball, I explain basketball like this. There's a cop at a corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's parked there, and there's a light, and you go through the yellow light and block down the street. Cop pulls you over, and you go, "What's wrong, officer?" You went through that red light. You go, "No, it wasn't. It was yellow."
I'm colorblind.
And he gives you a ticket. Who's right? Who's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Cop's right. He gave you the ticket. He tell you can contest it later.
Yeah.
But right now, he's right.
You're right, yeah.
Next week, cop car's there, but you don't know if it's the same cop. You go through the red light. You know it's red. And you're a mile down the street, and your heart pumping like, I hope he don't come. I hope he don't come. And now you at home, and he didn't come. Right. No, he never came. You didn't give you a ticket. You got away with it. That's basketball. Because we're not going to stop. Something happened, but we're not going to stop. And if the referee didn't see it, we're going to keep playing. Or if he didn't call it, we're going to keep playing. Sometimes it happens. Doesn't make it right, though. And
what rules does the commission, or I guess the commission as a whole, give you guys for playoffs? Because the rules are a lot more lax for playoffs when it comes to refereeing than it is for the regular.
Yeah, the let them play.
Yeah, the let them play.
All right, I said there aren't any different.
No?
No, that's just what you've been told.
Okay.
So to me, the hardest part about being a fan and watching the game is you're being told what you're watching.
Yeah.
So I tell everyone, watch the game, turn the volume down, play some music, and watch the game. And when you watch the game, it'll show you what happened.
Yeah.
Nobody has to tell you what happened on that play.
No,
but
sure.
if you hear and listening to Charles Barkley,
No,
he's gonna
yeah.
tell you stories about what he did, what he got away with.
Kenny,
Right. That doesn't make it right.
Right.
And the referee, how can he tell you what I'm thinking? I'm on the court, he's in the booth, and he tell you what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a makeup call. How can he tell you that was a makeup call? We're just trying to be consistent as a team. There's 3 teams on the court.
The
2 teams
where
playing.
their position? Okay. Teams, obviously.
There's the 2 teams playing, and then there's the 3 referees.
Right. And where they position exactly? Because I never really.
There's one under the basket. There's one kind of like at midcourt.
Midcourt.
And then there's one opposite at the free throw line opposite. So there's a triangle.
Okay, so they can see everything.
So
well,
we see it.
technically.
Right. And so everybody has their area that they're supposed to be looking at. But now the referee that's under the basket is called the lead because he leads us to rotate.
Oh.
So if he walks to the other side of the basket, now we got to rotate like we're on what you call a pendulum or something.
Right.
Right. So he rotates. Now this referee that was at the free throw line moves out to like half court, and now the one that was at half court, he moves down to the free throw line on this side.
Right.
So it's always a triangle. And now your coverage changes based on where the ball is.
And for those fast breaks, you guys are rotating like crazy.
No, on the fast break, we just go down the same way we're already lined up.
Okay.
So the ones that's at half court, he's going to be under the basket when we go down at the other end. The one that was under the basket is going to be at half court. This referee going to go from free throw line to free throw line. But now, depending on where the ball is what your coverage of where you're supposed to be looking.
Okay, that makes sense. You know, it's funny. I know we were talking about Charles Barkley and all the talking heads that talk over games. They should have, and maybe this is an idea that you can down the road look into. But they should have actual referee analysis. Like the NFL does that sometimes when there's a call during review. They're like, we'll go to our head ref in the studio somewhere.
They do that.
He'll explain it.
They do that
But
now.
they should have a show, just like if I'm watching a basketball game, instead of hearing Marv Albert and Mark Jackson talk, I'd rather hear the refs talk, explaining what they're seeing. Because that makes a lot more sense. I get it. It's entertainment at the end of the day, and you want to keep viewers engaged and all that stuff. But it's just man, it'll explain, it'll teach the game, and also like in real time, pretty much.
You have
on
a point,
pro level.
though. You have a point. Not to cut you off, but you have a point. We think of the Monday Night Football with Eli and Peyton.
Yeah, they do that.
Their show is getting a lot more views than the regular one does because they sit there and just tell you what the quarterbacks are doing, what this play is about to happen, and like you're saying, they break down the play before it even goes off.
Right.
They know what's going to happen, and that has made football, Monday Night Football, much more enjoyable.
Right, because knowing all the rules makes you a better player, regardless.
It should.
Mentally, it should. Make you a better. I don't know. You can break the rules, I guess. So, fast forward. Reffing career, how long did that go for?
Yeah.
And when did it end? And kind of move up to now.
I got fast track.
Okay.
So it took me about 4.5 years before I got in.
Okay.
Is that normal? Is that around normal?
I would say there's only been 3 of us.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Leon Wood, he's first black. Bernie Fry was the first ever. And so I would say Leon got a little more fast track than I did because it was a lockout year.
Oh,
so
no.
he got hired as a scab.
Okay.
From being a scab, he got hired. But it took me about 4.5. So for players that know the game, you're gonna pick it up that much.
Yeah.
That much quicker. So I would say about 4.5 years it would take you.
Do you think more players might make that transition? If had they know more of the rules going into it? Like you said, if there's this one rule from time you're 8 to time you're 30, do you think more players might make that transition instead of come out because you have the 3-on-3 with Ice Cube's tournament,
Right.
So players are looking for more opportunities after they get done. Do you
Right.
think they will have more happen?
I think more players will, but when you make say $3 million and now you're gonna make $250,000, and you're like,
I don't know.
But I can't say I didn't do it for the money, but at the same time, I love the game.
Yeah.
Right.
I love the game, and if you're a coach, you call the play, and the player doesn't run the play, and y'all lose the game, who's gonna get fired?
Coach.
Right. So as a referee, if I make a bad call, I just made a bad call.
Yeah.
Now I can't keep making bad calls.
Of course.
And you're not gonna keep making bad calls, but you control your own destiny as a referee. When you blow the whistle, nobody else made you blow the whistle. Nobody else made you do anything other than why you blew the whistle. So to me, I was like, that works for me because now I'm responsible for my own actions.
Right.
What's one of the best stories you have as being a referee that you can think of up top of it?
Best story?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not saying that's good or bad.
No.
But
No calls the whole game was the best story.
Yeah,
I can't tell you all because I'm working on my memoirs.
Oh, there you go. Hey,
Working
keep
on
that
my
for the
memoir.
book. Keep that
Right.
for the
And then
book.
he slid me a $20 bill.
But I tell you, funny. I'm in Houston, and this guy's just telling me how bad I am. And so it's during the timeout. So during the timeout, you gonna talk to the fans. They asking me questions. So this guy's just telling me how bad I am, and you need to put that whistle up. And it's during the timeout. So I'm like, all right, I'll put the whistle up. You sure? He was like, yeah. So I took the whistle, put it in my right pocket. I said, you happy? He was like, yeah, thank you. So the horn blows, teams get ready to come out. I reach in my left pocket. I go, I gotta go back to work. So I give you that one. You can get the rest of them in the morning.
I hate that. I hate when I don't hate it because I know it's part of the game, but complaining to the ref is listen, they see you as you don't see you. There'll be some missed calls every now and then, but it's just you complaining afterwards, they go make the call reverse.
Come on, man. You were complaining to the ref when you were playing football in high school. I know I was. I get a tackle and I get a flag. I'm going to this number.
Yeah, I told the ref, yo, in the game right now. We are getting blown out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
As a referee, nobody came to see you.
No.
You're just there to manage the game. So sometimes the players are right. And but listening to the commentators, they'll tell you what that player's complaining about or whatever. They don't know. They're assuming based on what happened. So sometimes players are right.
Yeah.
And, and being a referee, you have to be honest about that because they're gonna go look at the
tape,
the pads, and go back in the locker room and look at the play. You got to be honest about it. So don't BS them. Be honest and be truthful. Now, player, hey man, he holding my jersey. And the first thing I say, well, he said that about you down at the other end. But since you came over here to complain, I'm going to be watching you. So
Like,
I got to keep it even,
right, yeah.
you know. But if you're gonna complain, ain't nobody else out here complaining. But if you're gonna complain, I'm gonna watch you first.
Yeah,
That's my attitude, you know. But being that I played, some of the things that I said to players, I could get away with that other referees couldn't get away with, and they could come to me knowing they knew I played. So
It's like,
the conversation and the dialogue that goes back and forth is like me and you teammates.
Yeah, I get it.
As opposed to I'm the enemy.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like, I missed the call, but you missed 7 free throws.
There
Come
you
see
go.
me after the
So
game. I'm gonna teach you something.
You know that saying, the ball don't lie, right? And I'll be like, yeah, I seen your last jumper. So
I'm gonna follow you out the game right now just to save face.
But now you never. There's no referee out there intentionally trying to bring a player, you know, causing trouble to give him a foul or get him out the game or anything like that. Your job is to keep the game even and regulate the game. Because if there was no referees, I'd be like, call your own fouls.
That's true.
Do you think now that you got more game management coming from a place like New York for football and actually even for basketball too? Not overruling what the refs say on the court, but if that's the final say so, do you think it's going to hinder the game at all or enhance the game?
Okay, ask that question again.
Okay, so you know,
I'm sorry.
I know, I apologize.
So,
say like in football, when you have in football a ref make a bad call, they go to New York and New York can actually overrule that call pretty much. The same thing is pretty much coming to basketball. Do you think that's going to help the game or hinder the game?
Well, I say
kind of like
if it's something in the rules, it can be changed. If it's not in the rules, call gonna stand. But now you got replay.
Yeah.
That's in the rules. So if it was a call that was made and it's during that period where we can go to the replay, it may get overturned.
Okay.
But we're not just gonna overturn a call because you don't like the call.
And when they're doing the replay, are you seeing what we're seeing? Like, because you know they
I've always wondered that.
headphones
What
on
are
and
you
they
seeing
go
in
in
that?
a little whatever.
Well, they try to show the fans what we are looking at.
Right.
It's not what you're looking at, we're looking at. No, we try to show the fans what we are actually looking at. And so sometimes it could be 6 camera angles with this game, or it could be 4 camera angles. And then when the game is over, they go, oh, there was another angle.
Yeah.
And nobody didn't show us that.
Well, they now they do. I didn't even know they can do a coach's like challenge or something like that,
you
right?
got a coach's challenge, but I'm just saying there could be 6 camera angles in the arena.
Right.
But this arena only has 4 angles.
Yeah, that must have been the one.
But then after the game, they said it was a 5th one. You know, I didn't have that camera angle, so I couldn't
y'all
tell
still
you.
lost. Like I don't understand. Like y'all still lost the game.
Right.
Some of those refs are good though. Some of those, apparently all those camera angles, they can sit there and look at it for like 30 seconds and see all those angles. Oh, this is the call. I don't know how you do it.
Well, there's a 4th referee in the replay center.
Oh, okay.
So he's also assisting. So by the time we get to the monitor, he's looking at it already.
Oh, okay.
And so the ruling, you go by the ruling on the floor, and then you could have the rule stands, or it could be overturned. And so you have those options, but it has to be within the rules.
But if it gets
changed,
if it gets overturned, like I'm sure you guys have like a post game, maybe not after the game, maybe the next day, where you guys review how you ref the game, right? And I'm sure like, well, I guess I'm asking, is there like, you know, a sense of what's the word I'm thinking of? Basically, what I'm trying to say is, you guys want to avoid having to go to the instant replay, I assume.
you try to. You're supposed to referee the game without replay.
Okay.
But if
That's
you have to
ultimate
use it, use it. But you don't use it as a crutch.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call this because I can go to replay. No, don't ref the game like that.
I don't want to get too far into the future, or the sci-fi genre, but do you ever see a time in the future where the game is just going to be, there's going to be no refs, and it's going to be like digitally refed, pretty much AI refed?
The referees are out there so they don't start fighting.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
The game can be played that way, but you need the referees out there so they don't fight.
Yeah,
That's
true.
true.
There's been a few of them. I mean, heck, even
Hell, I play pickleball. We don't got refs. I'd be like, what you gonna do about it?
Yeah, there was a fight. There was a fight at the football game this weekend. Huge fight. So yeah.
Well, that's different. That's different. Football.
Oh,
It's
no, no.
controlled
Yeah, well,
violence.
I don't know
Wait,
about
hold on,
football
hold on,
fights. I'd be
hold
like,
on
you guys
now,
go
hold
ahead.
on.
Football.
There wasn't there a fight at the basketball game?
Well,
One of the
I'm
basketball
saying
games last year?
there's a fight in basketball, but technically You don't fight in basketball. Somebody foul you.
That's true.
If you're at the playground, somebody foul you, who gonna break it up? But in a real basketball game, that's what the referee is there for, so you don't fight.
Were you reffing during?
I was in a couple of brawls.
Because I'm from Michigan, so I was watching the game.
The
when,
Malice. The Palace.
Yeah.
I wasn't on that team. I was going by.
Man,
there,
is that like an example of worst case
Yeah,
scenario?
right. That's exactly right.
All right, so let's say this. The game was done right, but what the fan did caused the outcome.
Right.
So it had really nothing to do with the game. If the fan don't throw that cup on, they don't have to fight.
Yeah. I remember they were saying though, like, cause I mean it was a blowout game. It was like end of the game type deal, but like you can tell that tensions were high.
Well,
like in the last couple minutes, like
I know why the tensions were high because the year before Detroit beat Indiana. Indiana's players, some of the players, their key players were hurt, and Indiana was like, "Hey, if all our players would have been healthy, we would have kicked y'all butt." And so this is the first game the next year.
All that talking.
And all that talking went back and forth during the summer, and now here comes Indiana with their full team, and they beat you.
I remember I was back in the day. He was nothing but hot. So I can imagine you're talking a whole year.
So, but if the kid don't throw the cup,
that never happens.
Yeah, that's true.
It never happens.
Like, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, and this is this is actually my last question I asked about refereeing. I want to talk about the actual tournament, but you know, in football games there is a barrier. In I don't know about baseball games. I know in soccer games they have like a barrier for fans, but basketball is one of those unique sports to where you can have courtside seats, and the fans are literally right behind the bench, pretty much. Like, is that like?
That's why it's the best game.
Yeah,
because your fans don't sit on the field.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
Football, they sit in the booth. They sit in the stands. They got the booths. They in their little luxury box.
Well, like, one day when I'm not in front of the camera, and I can get embarrassed by it, I'm gonna have this conversation with you about which game is better, football or basketball. But I'm not gonna have you embarrassed in front of the camera.
Basketball is the best game, man.
Oh yeah, I wish.
Because the girls used to come to the game, sit courtside to see the guys in the short shorts.
Yeah, but if that happens to me, I miss, bring,
exactly.
I'm like, oh my god.
Right, but then you gonna fall into the girl's lap, sitting right there courtside.
I got arthritis in my shooting head. No, but like, I mean, obviously, players talk, fans don't shut up. Have you ever been? I mean, like, what control do you have control over fans, rowdy fans at all?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. The referee has the control of the whole entire arena.
Okay.
So if something happens in the stand, we stop the game.
Okay.
Y'all need to fix that because people came to watch the game, they didn't come to watch the fight. So we could stop the game and wait until all that gets resolved, and then let's get back to the game.
Okay.
You heard them say they can get a fan a yellow card and all that. So once I had a guy was playing, and one of the fans called the player a nigger.
Oh.
And the fan the player was getting ready to go, and I grabbed him. It was like, well, let me handle this. I don't want you to lose money.
I got this.
So, call security over and tell security what happened. They removed that fan. And the player was like, yo, man, thank you, because you saved me some money.
Yeah. Turns out it's Donald Sterling.
Yeah, no.
He owned the damn thing. All right. So
we got a little transition. We're going to talk a little about the invitational here. One of my biggest questions is, and this is going to be probably your biggest answer, what does a successful HBCU invitational look like to you?
A sold-out event, first of all.
Okay.
A legacy event to where we generate enough resources for HBCUs, and we give them a platform for them to get the recognition. And then we align with certain partners that help us continue this as a legacy. So as long as HBCUs exist, this tournament exists, so that they do get some resources, the proper resources and recognition, to where it goes together. And it's on the calendar for Tampa. It's on the calendar for the state of Florida every year.
Okay.
Every year. So like a bowl game.
Yeah.
So, but like the preseason NIT.
Right.
Something like that. Or preseason, they're playing in Puerto Rico, they're playing in the Dominican. This is the same thing, to where people, HBCU community, alumni, current students, they want to come to this event because this is that Mecca event as a legacy. That's how I see it as success.
I know you're not doing this for the kids to get. I say kids because that's what they're kids. For the kids to get money.
Yeah, you
but
like
do you think it will enhance their NIL capabilities?
For sure.
Yeah.
It will. But the difference with basketball and football is they play once a week.
Yeah.
Basketball, they play every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can enhance their NILs, you know, and allow them to get more exposure so that they can get money.
So before we start recording, obviously, you know, this whole event took a lot of planning, processing. However, I do want to give a shout out to your wife because I heard she's very involved in the whole process. So
Yes.
thank you. You can't see her; she's behind the camera. But thank you as well.
To our audience, for once, we actually have an audience in this out here with us. So I want to thank her and other members for being here.
So she is the executive director of the HBCU Hoops Invitation.
You want to come on? That's,
you want to come in?
We'll take a break and I'll move my throw you on.
We'll put a mic in your face. No problem.
But continue.
What are some of the logistics that go into? What is some of the heavy lifting that goes into making this?
Heavy lifting is the sponsorship.
Because you told us, I already know.
Basically, sponsorship is the heavy part of it because it's never been done before, and no one knows me as a promoter. Mm-hmm. No one knows me as that. So for doing something of this caliber, of this magnitude, for the first time ever, everybody's a little skeptical.
Yeah.
But we're not reinventing the wheel. It's
right.
not something that hasn't been done before. It's just that we're doing it for an exclusive group, and there's a lack of supporting because it's kind of known that HBCUs don't generate enough resources, doesn't generate enough money. So this is one of the ways to level the playing field to generate that money, but somebody's got to be the first to do it.
Right.
But can't you say in that same breath, the reason why a lot of HBCUs don't generate enough money is because they don't get the same playing time on TV, ESPN, as all the other schools. And let's face it, ESPN is where it gets you a lot of your money because you watch it on TV. Oh, I'm gonna come see you at the game.
Right.
I mean, that's gotta help.
Well, if we can get ESPN as a partner, you know, I think it will help. But there are other networks and capabilities out there also. But like I said, there's been a little hesitation because it's the first one and the magnitude of it. People
and plus, they got embarrassed bad by.
Yes. So.
You know.
Who?
ESPN, remember they got embarrassed bad with the
Bishop Sycamore.
Bishop Sycamore.
My God.
They were, so I'm sure they have a whole lot of checks and balances in place now.
So, but we're still grinding. It's not going to stop us.
So everything's already everything's on schedule. Like
as of right now, we're in the process of trying to secure the venue and making sure that we have, we're strategically trying to make sure we got the right teams. Mm-hmm. We don't want to have all the best teams in at the beginning because what you're going to do down the road.
Yeah.
So we got to, strategically pick the right teams, the teams that travel well with their alumni, and getting them all on board because it's not just to help one school, it's to help all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, that was actually, leading to how do you, your first few years are going to be your core group of teams that is going to get the views. Right. How do you see this expanding though? Do you see it expanding past those few teams? Do you want to?
You heard that comment?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what she said. Something.
I heard proprietary.
Proprietary. Just if you give us a
proprietary,
a ballpark answer. A ballpark answer.
Proprietary.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
All right.
Have you thought about partnering later on with, say, football or even some small D1 schools to like a 7-on-7 football HBCU invitational, where this can just be just basketball, where you can say, hey, this is an HBCU conference?
I won't say no to that, but right now our focus is basketball,
and
we're going to concentrate on basketball. I think it's endless to where it could go. Right now the focus is to make this a legacy to where this continues so that each HBCU school program, men or just any programs will be able to play in this tournament.
Right.
And like I said, as long as they're in existence, this tournament is in existence also.
What is the nearest HBCU to Tampa?
Bethune, Bethune-Cookman. So you have four. You have four HBCUs here in the state: Bethune-Cookman, FAMU, Edward Waters, and Florida Memorial.
Okay, and I asked that question just because why not try to have a tournament at one of those sites?
Because it's independent of them.
Okay.
It's a private tournament where they are invited to come and play. So just like I said, there's a tournament that's called the Maui Invitation. Those schools are invited to come and play. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're inviting this select group of schools to come play in this tournament every year. And it's not the same schools every year. Everybody gets their opportunity.
Okay. Damn, I might want to, because I had hoop dreams at one point, but at 15 years old, I just stopped at 5'10", and that was pretty much hoop dreams after that.
5'10", you're not limited though.
I'm not limited, but I'm also, I procrastinate, so I'll probably try to show up to trials on last day, but yeah. So 2024 December, and site will be, I know it's in Tampa, but site will be
right now we're speaking with the Yuengling Center.
Off of Bush, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it's, I mean, if you had the choice, where would it be in Tampa?
Yuengling.
You want to be Yuengling Center, not Amalie?
No, well, it's not structured that way.
Okay.
Amalie is not big enough for our format, so the Yuengling Center is designed where it lays out. It's
how many people? I mean, obviously the teams are coming, but I mean, what's the goal as far as like tickets, or how many people you guys want to come?
As many as can fit in.
As many.
I want the fire marshal to be like, we can't take no more.
No, y'all gotta go.
But there will be 8 schools invited.
Okay.
So there are 8 schools that'll be invited.
So this is a Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Man, I'm excited. Like, well, see, because I'm from Michigan, and I was born playing basketball, pretty much, right? Midwest is, snow, basketball. That's pretty much it. But it's funny. I moved down to Tampa. It's been, according to Facebook, 12 years. They do that memory thing, like when I moved. But I never really noticed like a huge basketball scene in Tampa, because obviously we don't have a team. Nearest team is Orlando, and I couldn't tell you any amateur teams out here. I mean, I think having a tournament here would kind of bring that crowd in. I mean, Tampa's baseball, they got a lot of baseball players, baseball teams. Yeah. The Bucks, they're hit or miss every now and then.
Well, the reason for Tampa, like I said, there's the Maui Invitational. So go to Hawaii. There's no basketball, football team in Hawaii.
Right.
So we got the same amenities here in Florida.
Right.
So most of the schools are in the southeast. So it's a close bus ride to get here in December, which will help with recruiting for football, for other sports. So it pairs really well with the schools that are nearby that can get here easily, and you're coming somewhere in December, it's going to be 75, 80 degrees.
Perfect.
And coming and playing. What school doesn't want to come to Florida in December before they start their regular conference play?
Yeah, it's almost depressing a little bit, right? You go down to Florida for a weekend, shoot some hoops, and the next you back to where you came from.
Right. And then, like you said, with the success of it is, I think a lot of stuff that will come from it also is, hopefully we can have a concert to give the fans something else besides just basketball to be at. So golf-wise charity to bring some former players and things, to have them do something also besides just coming to a basketball game.
It can eventually turn into a festival if you think about it. I mean,
you said it.
The way it grows.
You said it. That's right.
So I mean, like I said, especially Tampa, there's many festivals that we have here all the time. This is the best place to have it at.
So, you guys have been working on this for a while, and besides like the sponsorship, obviously that's a huge help. Like, how clutch was it to have your significant other also be part of this process? Because I can imagine trying to do all this by myself.
Yeah. Well, we have a good team. We have a good team that we've kind of put together to help us with this, and most of our team members, went to a HBCU, so they understand the culture.
Right.
And it's all about the culture. And so the main reason was, I've been here 23 years, and Tampa lost the Florida Classic to Orlando.
Not surprising.
So this replaces that Florida Classic football game with basketball.
There you go.
With something that they don't normally have.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what this is about too.
I'm excited. Hell, like I said, I'm a hooper by heart. We go to my car right now. I got a basketball in the trunk. I got a pair of shoes, shorts just in case.
And he'll make you look like you're two.
No, he might be able to get me because, you know, I got that bad leg.
Yeah, he can be calling all the calls.
And I'm 57.
Yeah, man.
So
You ain't seen him run. He runs like a duck.
Stop it. I mean, I have a few more questions, but Sean, you kind of covered a lot of it.
Yeah. Go ahead. I mean, we're going to jump into what the Florida if you want.
I'm ready.
But before we do that, out of all this, what made you decide I want to do this?
Well, because of my experience of playing, you know, as a freshman, I played in a championship football game, I played in a championship basketball game. And then I went on in, you know, my career. But I've noticed and recognized that there wasn't anything like this for HBCUs. And being that I was a referee, I got to see what goes on behind the scenes, behind the curtains, how the game is structured, how sponsorship works, how to regulate the games, and where the teams come from, and how they get there, how they travel. And so having all of that information was, and this is the right time. I feel like I'm the right person because of those experiences to do something like this.
Yeah, it's very rare to have someone who's been on both sides.
Yes.
You know, and that's like, I mean, that's clutch. You know, it's like you got to enjoy. Like, it's most people's dreams. Well, most athletes' dreams to play on the professional level.
Right.
But it's very rare to have a successful career on a professional level
and then flip it,
and then be able to watch others do the same under the same arena.
Yeah.
Right. So, and also is to show some kid that's like me.
Right. That's
10 years old. I feel like if I can give them a platform at every stage of their lives, because no one gave me that, that's the way I give back to the game.
Right.
You know, you're giving back to the game is to help somebody else get there that has to go the same road, but then you can pull them to the side and say, you know what, you might not need to go this way. Why don't you start your career as a referee? I can get you to the NBA as a referee other than playing. Have you ever thought about that? But no kid thinks about, I want to be the ref. I don't want to be the ref. Just like being a police officer, you know, that walk the beat. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that guy.
Oh, I completely agree. When I got hurt playing football, if I would have had a chance to, someone came in and say, "Hey, look, you don't got to play, but you can come ref," I would have been like, "Oh, what?"
Listen, some of the best players know all aspects of the game, not just on the playing side, but also on
some of the best ones. You're right.
Some of the best coaches, you know.
Well, this is not a traditional transition.
Which it should be though.
You would think.
You would think like players would also make good.
But if you made $3 million for 10 years, you like, man.
Yeah, but
but you wanted to sit down and do nothing though. You like, hey,
well,
look,
they go into
coaching.
They go into coaching. They go into commentating.
Yeah.
I think that's harder to transition to, being a player and then try to be a coach of a professional team. It just seems like it's one thing to know the game and then you try to coach it, but like reffing, you know the game, you know how it works, you know the calls. Coaching is like, not only do you have to know the game, you have to be a leader of men.
Right.
That's the hard part.
Right. Well, that is true, but you're also you need to be liked.
Yeah.
I could care less what you thought about me. I could care less. I'm out here to do my job.
Right.
And that's it. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. But I'm not here to hold some kind of grudge against you.
Right.
But there are some dialogues that go left sometimes. That'll be in the book.
What you say to me? Technical. Go about.
Exactly.
I don't like his face. Get him out of here.
That'll be in the book. But the referee, I'm not out here to get you. You foul, you hit the guy on the arm. You hit him on the arm. But no, I didn't. Okay, you didn't.
Right.
That's what I call. And that's what it's going to be. Now, if I go back at halftime and look at the tape and see that you didn't do it, I'm going to come out at halftime, and before we start the game for the second half, I'm going to come straight to you and tell you was right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you I'm going to work harder so that I don't miss that call the next time.
Yeah. It's like, listen, man,
But I'm not going to change it.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm sorry I called you for that double dribble. My bad. I made a mistake. You actually traveled. That's what it was. My bad. Either way.
All right, I give you this one as a travel. How many steps you get for a layup?
2.
First, if I'm in the pros, I'm dunking every
Well,
time.
See, he already wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, you get 2,
Yeah.
right? When do you get the 2?
After the last bounce.
See, you doing something that you don't even know you did.
Wait.
He said you get
Ball
2
comes
steps,
up.
so that's in the rule. You
All
get
right,
2
ball
steps.
comes up. 1,
2.
you
and
got to
that's it.
take off.
No.
3 is travel.
You already hit 3. It's
No.
bounce 1, 2, and you're off on the second one. That's your
So
step.
if the ball's in my hand, if I bounce it,
Yeah.
the ball's in my hand.
That starts your
Whatever
first step.
my foot, whatever foot is in the air, the opposite one is my pivot. I can
right.
step on the other one. Then
Y'all all around it.
Are we
you
wrong?
touching on it.
I'm nowhere in the ballpark, am I?
But no, you're in the ballpark, but you touching on it. But both of you are wrong when you say what you say. So you get the 2 steps when you have control,
Yeah.
right? But if your foot is already on the floor, is that the first step?
I was always taught that
See,
age
that-
of
that's
I'm
not
trying
right.
to picture this.
That's not right.
That's not
Okay.
right. So you're dribbling the ball.
Uh-huh.
You pick it up. You have control,
Right.
and your foot is on the floor.
Right.
How many steps you get?
2.
So 1, 2.
But if you
But
don't have
most-
control,
I can't start the count.
so
Yeah.
I can technically take the ball on the other side of the court and just whoa, all the way to the basket.
They
All the way
do-
to the basket.
They do that a
'Cause
lot.
you don't
That's
have
what they,
control of the ball.
So that's when they be
That's
doing
how
all
you-
that messed up stuff. Okay,
You don't
I get
have
it now.
control of the ball, so you don't get the 2 steps until till the referee determines you have control of the ball. Now you got 6 feet down there,
Right.
and y'all got the same shoot.
Yeah.
Now I got to determine when you have control of the ball and start your count.
I got it.
So that's what I'm saying. Now, call it at the park,
Oh shoot.
Travel.
my ball,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? If you don't like the call, he kicked the ball, man. Forget
Yeah, I'm
this
going
guy.
home.
There goes that ball.
That's why you got the referees out there.
All right.
But that's what I'm saying. There are certain things about the game that you don't know you did, and I'm watching you. You
Yeah.
playing. You can't look at your feet and try to shoot
Yeah.
the ball at the same time. But sometimes they do get it right.
That's true.
But when somebody tells you that he took 4 steps, it's the same thing that the cop didn't come and get you and you went through the red light. Sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes you
I know
don't.
that.
But that's what I'm saying. By the rules,
See.
it's certain
You
things
listen,
you do.
That's why.
You gonna get me jumped at the park because I'm gonna go to the park.
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Well, you can't do
and
stuff
I'm
at
gonna
the
do
park.
this, like
And
wait.
you say, hey man, I ain't got control of the ball.
I ain't
But
control.
you can't do that at the park.
Yeah, that's true.
But
My
some
hands
stuff
keep
that you
shaking, I
can
don't
do
have
at the
control.
park, if you can do it in a real game, it's okay. But then they got to change the rules because Iverson crossed Jordan, and that was a carry.
Yeah.
So if you dribble the ball over your head, what is that?
That's a carry.
How is that the same? You just said Iverson carried the ball. I'm dribbling. How is that
I
a
don't
carry?
know. It always was what it looked like.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So as a referee, coming from, oh, I didn't know I did that. Now I'm the ref. Oh, I see why you did what you did.
Did you ever just tell a player like, "Wow, you made it all the way to the NBA, you didn't know that"?
Right. Yes, we've had those conversations too. Yeah.
You've been traveling
Like,
for
dude,
18 years.
Like one person, not that I'm ragging on or not, because he was a great player, Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce couldn't go left that much. So he would always make it so that his left foot was his pivot. But he caught the ball with his right foot on the floor. And he would just move his feet a little bit and change his pivot. Because he knew he didn't want to go left. And then now, because of the rules, hey man, he just moved his pivot foot. And the coach be like, you call travel. Coach call, what you doing? Because that wasn't a play.
Like, listen, Doc. First of all,
Yeah.
I remember you from when we was playing.
Right, but it's certain things that you're not paying attention to. You just as a player. And the coach when you get to that level, the coach don't tell you, all right, catch the ball on your left pivot foot.
No, he think
He
you
just
already
say,
know
get
it.
over on the sideline, catch
Get
the
over
ball.
it.
We're going to throw it inside the shot.
Yeah.
And you catching and you doing this, trying to get it. So if I
Just
can't throw
the
it,
ball,
I can still move.
I can still move.
Yeah.
But now you done travel. And I just called travel out the blue and everybody be like, what happened? And he move his pivot foot,
moved.
coach. And
Yeah.
you be like, man, you messing up the game. You like, well, he traveled.
Hey, you messing up the game.
Right. But that's
Put
because
some
you got
gum
six,
on his feet, on his shoes. or
you
something.
got 6 camera angles and somebody looking at his feet and there's hey man, he moved his pivot foot. And who looking at that?
I know. They should all make them wear like toe shoes.
But that's what I'm saying. If the rules were all the same,
Yeah.
it'd be easier to understand the game and watch the game as opposed to watching the game at 3 different levels.
Yeah.
It would be. It would be. I mean, and then we move on to Florida. But one of the biggest things, it's not an annoyance, but it's like Steph Curry, greatest 3-point shooter ever. Hands down.
Why would you say that?
Hands down, because he can.
Because Marv Albert told him to say it.
Don't even.
So now let me say this before you say that. They used to play without the 3-point line. So why would you say that? Because there was guys that shoot the ball.
That's what I'm saying. The fact they even have it out there in the first place, even though they got it extended, they don't even need it. He doesn't need it. Most of the players don't need it. You know what the line is, so why have it on the court?
But he can't be the greatest if it wasn't one and guys were still shooting that deep.
Yeah, but he's not using it though. He's shooting from wherever.
Right.
He's shooting from over half court, and still making it.
There was some guys that were shooting that, but now he's purposely, and now there's a focus and an attention on it.
He's got kids doing it. And that's the biggest thing.
But back in the 70s and the 80s, you can't tell me guys weren't shooting 30, 40 footers.
They were like, bro,
why
but that was a long 2-pointer.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't forget Bird. Bird was, cannot forget Bird.
It's like, I would have got drafted. I would shoot 3-pointers before it actually was a 3-point line.
Yeah, you can't forget Bird. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to what, Florida? Man charged after slapping a hot coffee all over a McDonald's worker during an argument over pennies.
Oh, you said pennies?
Pennies.
Okay.
Pennies. Cents. A Florida man was arrested on Monday after having a meltdown at a McDonald's drive-thru. Police say the incident began when the man argued over a few cents on his breakfast order. Surveillance video shows the man becoming enraged and slapping a hot coffee out the manager's hand before speeding off. Police identified the man as 64-year-old Eliza Revolves. He was arrested and charged with felony battery for slapping his coffee out this person's hand. Revolves' meltdown is just one of many recent incidents of angry customers lashing out at fast food workers. This story happened in Florida. Now you gotta tell me where. Next Florida story.
So we guess at the end.
Okay.
I'll probably let you win.
Yeah, okay.
Let me win?
I'm let you win, yeah.
Florida man arrested for stealing his ex-employer's street sweeper to do a job with competing companies.
You said street sweeper?
A street sweeper, yeah. He
I
stole
didn't know
his
you could buy those as just a regular citizen.
I didn't either. Apparently he didn't. Apparently he figured out a loophole. A Florida man is now behind bars after he allegedly took a stolen street sweeper for a spin, according to the sheriff's office. Kevin Rodriguez Aponte was arrested last Thursday and charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle. A lawn care business owner told deputies his street sweeper was stolen from his shop that operated out of Florida. According to an arrest affidavit, surveillance video from the business showed a pickup truck in the driveway and someone wearing a gray hoodie under an orange reflective vest, because let's just show ourselves off, walking around the street sweeper.
Walking around the street? Wait, time out.
He was walking around
the street sweeper.
He was
so
walking
he
around
wasn't driving. He was just
he
like,
was walking
wow,
around
this is a very nice street sweeper I got right here.
The person is seen touching the street sweeper before it was taken from the property. I guess they didn't catch him actually taking it, just him touching it.
I've seen a street sweeper like 4 times in my entire life.
He was checking it out.
Yeah.
He was just, I think I might buy this.
I don't know if that's a vacuum or a...
The business owner said Rodriguez Aponte was a former employee and he believes he may have taken the street sweeper, the affidavit states. That's because only somebody who is trained would be able to operate the street sweeper. And
you should go to jail for stealing the street sweeper. You're doing a public service. You're like, all right, I'm cleaning these streets up.
And he suspected that Rodriguez had taken the sweeper to use at his own business, the report said. He separated from the business about 6 months ago after an argument about him wanting to start his own business and taking contracts with them. Obviously, he started his own business and wanted his property too.
Hey.
That's the second Florida story.
All right.
Final Florida story. Now, this one's going to really get you. Florida man 77, meant to sell ill-gotten ED drugs in Florida. Yeah. Here's the Florida story.
I'm going to go with the villages.
Yeah. Authorities arrested 77-year-old Florida man for allegedly buying more than $1,800 in erectile dysfunction drugs without a prescription and intending to sell them in communities across Florida.
I don't think you should get arrested after 75. They should just be like, don't do that again.
Federal authorities have arrested him. The man was arrested last month where he lives alongside his other full-time residents, which were also his customers.
All right, fair enough.
He pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor charge and agreed to have his case heard before a magistrate judge instead of a jury. If convicted, he faces up to a year in federal prison and a fine of $10,000, up to $10,000.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
All right.
75? Yeah, he got it.
75. Yeah,
That's good
they sent him
retirement.
to the grave. He's just trying to get his death on the funeral. That's all. Can't afford his funeral. Might as well commit a crime.
All right.
These are your Florida stories?
All right. First story.
First story. The man who. Let me get this right one.
The man.
The man who had a meltdown in a McDonald's drive-thru and now has a felony.
Since you're our guest, I'll let you go first.
No, not a charge, a felony.
North Florida.
North
Okay.
Florida. Oh man, I'm gonna say, because I want there to be a winner, so I'm gonna say Central Florida.
Okay. You both are wrong. Having in South Florida. South
All right. Well,
Okay.
scratch
Second one.
that.
The guy who stole a street sweeper.
Street sweeper.
It's
What are
hard
we done
to
with
say
this?
it.
Give this guy's information because he sounds like a hero.
Okay.
Street sweeper. What are the streets most dirtiest in
Yeah.
Florida? Oh man, that could be anywhere.
Actually, that's actually a pretty good. That's actually a pretty good definition. No, I'm getting.
I don't know. North Florida. I'm just saying North.
I
Okay.
would say North Florida also.
Okay. Oh, you guys are so close. Very close. We have in Central Florida and Ocala. Having Ocala, so very close.
Is it Ocala or Ocala?
Ocala. Let's say
Ocala.
Ocala.
All right. Last story.
Let's ask the Floridians. Is it Ocala or Ocala?
Ocala.
Ocala.
Okay.
Is it with a K or with a C? No, I'm just kidding. I'd like to solve the puzzle.
All right. Final Florida. Oh wait.
The
Final
old
Florida
man
story. The old man who
selling miracle pills
selling those
to his
miracle
neighbors.
pills. Yeah.
I like what you said earlier about it. That seems like it happened in the villages.
The villages.
So I'm saying
It has to.
Central Florida.
Okay.
Right?
Central. All right. Since I want there to be a winner, I'm gonna go with North Florida.
All right. It did happen